Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Power Platform TV. Today, we're going to take a look at App Side Panes. So, these are side panes that appear in model driven apps for users. So, basically, when users are using a model driven app, there is a side pane that can be produced that can display information that's beneficial to the users. So, we're going to take a look at how this works in model driven apps. We're going to go through some examples of the types of data that you can display in there, and we'll show you how it can be really useful for users using the application. So here's a starting point. I wrote a blog post about this, and you could go to my blog, carldesouza.com, and you'll see here that I've kind of laid out all of the steps to go through when building App Side Panes. And I do want to note that this is a preview feature. The documentation says that it was meant to be released last month, which was in March 2022. And so we're still waiting to kind of get official news. I don't know if anything official came out, but I'm basically going on what's in the documentation online on the Microsoft documentation. And we're going to poke around and we'll see this working, and you'll get the idea of how to implement this. And then when it does go general availability, you'll be able to implement this in your environments. So let's go and head on over to the Power Apps Maker portal, make.powerapps.com. And I have here a solution that has some things in it. So I added some things to this solution to be able to demo the App Side pane today. So let's just take a quick look at what I have here. So a couple of things that I added a couple of icons. So these are SVG files, and these are just basic web resources. So we have those uploaded here. That's account activity and account icon. So two icons that we'll see get displayed when the App Side panes are being used. I also added just an out-of-the-box dashboard, the sales dashboard. I didn't make any changes to it, but we'll go through an example of displaying a dashboard in that side pane. And I have here as well the Sales Hub app, and I added that just so I could add a custom page that I created. And you can see here, this is the test one custom page here. And I also have a web resource just called test as well, right? And if we just jump into each of these web resources here at the bottom, I'll just show you what these look like. So this is the HTML web resource. And if I go ahead and go to the URL, we can see here that it's just a really simple hello world, right? So we're going to see that. And then if I go over here to basically if I clicked here and clicked into this custom page, we'll just take a look and see what it looks like. We can just click override here. It says that I already have this open in another session. That's fine. And we can see here the custom page. It's just basically a page that says Hello World custom page, right? If I previewed it, that's just what it would look like. Okay, let's go ahead and close this. And we'll close this, and we'll just go back over to our solution over here. And so those are the components that are going to be used in this walkthrough today. So now let's go ahead and run some of these side panes. So I'm going to click over here into this model-driven app. So this is the Sales Hub model-driven app, pretty much out of the box. And what we can do is I'm going to hit F12 to go into the console, the developer console for the browser here, okay? So this is the developer console. If I hit console over here and just clear this out. Now the first thing I'm going to do is going to jump back over to my blog here, and if we scroll down, the first thing we're going to try is opening an account list here, okay? So I'm going to grab this code here and head back over here, and I'm just going to paste this in, and let's talk through what this does, right? So we can see here it says xrm app.sidepanes.create pane. So it's creating a pane here through this method in the xrm.app, and we're passing some parameters to it. The first one we have here is the title, so we're just going to call it accounts. The image source, so this is I'm basically going out to the web resource that I uploaded here, and that was called Carl_accountactivity.svg. So we're basically referencing that image. So we're saying that's the one we want to use. Next up is the pane ID. So this will need to be unique. So you can give this a whatever name makes sense here. So I'm just calling it account list because we'll be displaying a list of accounts. And then we have the parameter whether the user can close this or not. And I'm just going to set this to true. And basically, we'll see a little X icon where we can close down this pane, but we can add that ability or remove that for the users. And then basically we have here what we're saying is we want to do an entity list of accounts, okay? And note the singular notation there, account. So I'm going to go ahead and run this, and then so we'll see this opening here. I'm just going to X out of the console, and you can see here so this is the side pane, right? So it's basically displaying a list of accounts here. And so here's the list, and I could theoretically, if I wanted to, I could just go ahead and select something else there. And basically, it's nice because it's just sitting there on the right-hand side, and you can see there's the icon that we selected, the SVG file that's a web resource. And if I click on this, we see that the pane goes away, right? So users don't have to have it open if they don't want to, if it's taking up too much real estate. We can also programmatically open and close this, and I'll just show you guys how to do that a little later. But that's something that we have control over as developers as well, to be able to decide if we want to open this immediately or not. And then, you know, if we take a look at the usability, if I click on other things in the system here, like if I go to an account here on the left, you can see that it's on the right, the side pane is locked and it's not doing anything, right? So the user could just go ahead and use the application as they need to, and they can always have this side pane here to come back to whenever they need information from it. And if we look at the usability of the side pane itself, if I were to click into one of these accounts here, what we'll see is that it has opened up the account, and we can scroll down and we can see all the information about the accounts. That's all nice. And then if I wanted to open up a list of the accounts to get back to the list, I have the open record set item here. So I can click on that, and that gives me the list here. And then if I wanted to pop this out, and this is kind of interesting, it says open in a new window, and then I can just go over here and it'll open up this record in a new window over here. And we'll just wait for that to load. And we can see here that it's totally separate browser window, and then I can basically close this down and if I don't want it open, right? And that'll take me back to the original page. So that's kind of interesting. That is the entity lists. Let's go back over to the blog over here. Next one I'm going to show you guys is opening up a second pane here. So let's go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to go back over here. Let's go back to the console. Close this, and excuse me here, I'm just going to paste this in. So what we're doing here is we have contacts this time. So it's almost identical as last time, but I just want to show you what two of these open at the same time looks like, right? So if I click enter here, and let's just close down this. And so now you can see on the right, so I'm opening up a contacts list, and that's the one here. And then if I go over here, this is the accounts, and I can then click on the accounts tab and get back to the accounts list, and I can just toggle back and forth between the two, right? So that's kind of nice. You can see here, this is the X button, right? So if I clicked on this, it would close down this tab completely. And you can see with contacts, we did not have that option selected, so it was set to false, and that's why we don't see that there, right? If I minimize this, we have both the icons here, so it's just very easy to get to each of these lists if we want to as a user. So next one I'm going to show you, if we scroll down, I'm going to go and show you how to open a record directly. Let's go ahead and copy this, and we'll go back to the console here, and we are going to paste this in. I'm going to paste this in like this, and just before we run it, let's take a look. So I'm setting the title here to the title of the account that I'm opening. So this is an account entity record that I'm opening. We're passing in the GUID of the entity ID. like that. We're setting the width here. This one's got a little bit of a bigger width. This is 600, so we'll just see this kind of take over a little bit more of the browser here. And then everything else is pretty much the same, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and run this. And there we have it open. And we can see here that we have the account open here on the right, okay? And again, like if I went and clicked around here on the left, you know, it's not doing anything. It's all anchored in there. If I wanted to click on any of these other ones or just minimize, same behavior as before. All right, let's go back over to the blog. Let's see here what else we have. Custom pages. So custom pages are pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and copy this code here. Let's go back over here. We'll take a look at how it works. All right, going to go ahead and paste this in. And so the difference here, the big difference is the page type here is custom, and we're passing in the name here, right? So if I go back to my Make a Power Apps portal, this is the name here, and then if I go back over here, that's the one that we're opening, and everything else is exactly the same, right? So if you make a custom page, right? Let's go ahead and run this and see how it looks. You can go and make a custom page, and custom pages are new functionality that's evolving in the system. But basically, yeah, look at how it's rendered here, right? So it looks really cool. Same deal, right? I can open and close this, and you can give users this information as a custom page in your App Side Pane. So I like this one. This one has a lot of future potential, right? Let's go back over now over here, and web resource. So web resources, if I click on this one and then go back over here, hit F12. I'm going to paste this in here. And very similar as the other ones, the page type here is going to be web resource. The web resource name is going to be the name of the web resource. So back over here, the web resource name. And then everything else is however you want to configure it. Go ahead and run that. And this is our web resource being displayed here, right? So yeah, if you want to create a web resource that pulls information from somewhere, displays information, whatever it is, you can do that and render it like so. And one thing I just want to quickly point out here is that some of this stuff is not, it's kind of not in the documentation. So this is, I've been just kind of playing around with this stuff, and I can see these methods being used, and who knows what the end result will be exactly, right? But yeah, this is an example of web resource. We'll see what happens with the final product. Next one down here, if I scroll down, so this one is a sales dashboard. So any dashboard really, looks like you can display here. So if I go over here and just hit F12 again and hit Control V, and basically what we have here is the page type is equal to dashboard, and then we have a dashboard ID, right? So when you're a developer, you'll be able to find that dashboard ID. Everything else here is basically the same. If I go here and click Enter and then X out of this, we see here that it's opened up the sales dashboard here on the right. So that could be useful, maybe. Who knows? It's up to you how you build your system here, and you could take advantage of having a dashboard over here with potentially with certain tiles being displayed, maybe. Lots of interesting scenarios that could come up. So let's head back over here now, and we got search as well. So I'm going to copy this one. And so if I paste this one in here, this is the page type is equal to search, and this is the search text here, so what we'll be actually searching for. And yeah, this one, sometimes it pops up with an error, and I think maybe there's something I'm not doing 100% correct on this one, but maybe the search type needs to be passed in. I'm not sure, but if I run this, we'll see here that you can see here this error is happening over here, and if I just X out of this, I can just click OK on the error. The error doesn't really the error doesn't really mean anything for what's actually being displayed on the right here, but this is the interesting part on the right here. So we get this search page up, and it's doing the search for test, and then it's finding a contact with this test text in it, and it's displaying that in the side pane here. So that's pretty cool as well. So let's go back over to the blog. What else do we have? So the multi-session app situation is really interesting, and I just want to kind of show you guys how this works. So I'm going to go over here and get out of Sales Hub, and I'm going to go over to Customer Service Workspace. And we could see here, this is Customer Service Workspace, and there's no productivity pane on the right. And I've done videos about this, about the productivity pane and how you can use it and how you can access it as a developer through the API. And let's do this. I'm going to open up a record, and I've also done tons of videos on Customer Service Workspace and Omnichannel and that sort of thing. And look it up on my YouTube channel and you'll get familiar with it. But basically, here I've selected a record, and as a result of selecting the record, it has opened up the side pane here. Basically, what in Customer Service Workspace is the productivity pane, and you can see here so we have 3 of these already implemented out of the box. And so the first one here is the Smart Assist, where it basically shows knowledge articles to help resolve the case here. Then we have the second one here, which is agent scripts. So this guides the agent through the experience with the customer. And then finally here we have knowledge search. And this is doing a search here of knowledge articles and, again, trying to help the agent to resolve this case, right? And so this is called the productivity pane, and if I clicked on the highlighted pane, you can see here that it collapses the productivity pane, right? So same deal with the app side pane functionality. So if I hit F12 here, and what I'm going to do is jump back over here to my blog, and let's go up and let's just go ahead and grab this first one here of accounts, okay? Let's grab this, and I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to paste this in. And so what you'll see here, I'm just going to run this and X out of here, and you could see here that it's displayed the accounts, right, in this productivity pane now. And so the same code, and it's basically embedded into the productivity pane, right? So if I minimize this, you can see here that you have the top 3 icons out of the box, and then now we have our accounts, which is basically functioning in exactly the same way. So if I go from the top, I can click on each of these, and I'm giving the user this custom experience here built right into the multi-session app that I have, right? So if I went here and I clicked on this customer, for example, it's going to open up a new tab, but the pane is still anchored here on the right, and it's still displaying the information that I need it to. You see, so very interesting how it's been built in now to this productivity pane. So let's head back over to the blog, and there's a few more little things I wanted to show you guys. If we scroll down here, let's see here. Got this. This is the what I went through earlier, and then if we keep going down, so this here now is to do with setting properties and using the side panes through the API. So let's grab this one here, and this is basically from the Microsoft documentation. And so basically, if I clicked on here and hit F12. So if I go ahead and paste this in and just run this, so then we got last pane here. So if I type in last pane, let's take a look at it. We have all of this stuff in this object. So now if I do last pane dot, and I set the width here, right? And I'm just going to let's open up this one. So let's say we're in the Smart Assist panel, and I do last pane is equal to 700. You'll watch here. We'll see the width change, right? There it is, right? So it's gone and redrawn the width basically based on the code that we just ran. So that's kind of interesting. That's an interesting one. Let's try some other ones here. So if I go over here, let's see, we can close as well, right? So I'm gonna grab this one. So this one says the account pane. So we're basically just getting the account pane here. So I'm gonna go and paste this in. And so basically now we have the account pane. If I were to type the account pane in, we can see we have that object. So now what I can do is I can do an account pane.close. So if I do account pane.close, right, and add this in like this, and you'll see here, like this is the account pane, the bottom one here, and we're just going to see that disappear. There it goes, right? So now it's no longer part of this. So that's an interesting one. If we wanted to close down this this functionality when we need to. And then this last one here is badges, and badges are kind of interesting as well. So what I'm going to do, copy this over, and if I hit Control V, so basically badges, what we're going to see here on these icons is just a little badge that has a number next to it. So it's kind of like when you have unread messages, for example. So very typical with apps, if you have like 2 unread messages, it might have a little number 2 next to an icon. And so that's what this is doing here. So if I run this one, you can see here that it's added the number 1 next to it, right? And you could basically put any number in here. You know, if I put number 50, for example, it's going to show 50 here. And I did notice that, you know, if you go like above 99, so if I did 100, then it's just going to show 99 there, right? So that maybe that's a little limitation, but yeah, basically this gives you that ability to add these what they're calling badges next to each of these icons, and then if you wanted to get rid of this, you can just basically click. So if I click out of it, click back into it, you can see it's cleared out the badge there, right? So that's kind of similar functionality to if you're in an app and then you had that that badge, and then with the number next to it, you clicked into it, unread email messages, for example, it would clear that out. So that's basically App Side Panes. Hopefully it's useful for you and what you're building for your customers. Thanks for listening.
So that's it, guys. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and of course check out my blog at carldesouza.com. Thank you.